A few things that I want to talk about, and hopefully you guys have lots of questions, but I want to talk about a couple of things. First off, number one is I'm making some changes to uh, Ranger Medic. Okay. Number one, I'm going to give them back the longbow because Rangers, that is what's special about being a Ranger is they get the longbow. Okay. But, okay, but I'm taking away metal armor from them. Okay. Samurai have the bow, not the longbow. Samurai have the bow, not the longbow. Just Rangers have longbow. Okay. Um, but I'm not only am I taking away metal armor from from Ranger medics, but also their heals are all got to have to be single target. Okay. Ranger medics are not going to be having AE heals. That needs to be in the hands of proper healers. Okay. They still will have heals. Okay. You know, but they're going to be single target heals. Proper heals, full-time healers, are the ones that should have the uh, AE heals. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Okay. Excellent. But they also lose metal armor as well. So that means that they are they're leather bound. They still can wear scale mail, okay, but they cannot wear chain. They cannot wear uh, the metal, any of the metal types. Okay. Essentially, there are some D2s still because some scale mails are D2. Okay, like dragon scale. Okay, dragon scale is still leather armor. Okay, like cockatrice. Yes. Okay. Um, yes. Scale mail, some scale mail armors like basilisk, cockatrice, dragon scale are D2. Okay, but they're still leather. Okay, but you know, but snake scale is still going to be D1. Okay, most, you know, but that's the special. They're really hard to get stuff. You know, like someone makes an Arenis feather armor, that would be D2. Okay, that's still leather armor, but it's D2. Okay, that all makes sense. Okay, it rewards you for all the work you have done to collect all the pieces to make that special set. Yes, Hawthorne could do that. Yes, Hawthorne, being a leather worker, could make scale mail armor. Correct. Yes, yes, absolutely. Metal workers cannot make leather armor. Leather workers make leather armor. Okay, it's kind of a thing. You know. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Doom, 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 dun, 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 dun. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, also, um, does everyone wear armor? Well, um, mages wear, I mean, they wear cloth, which is technically considered to be armor, but that's zero. And, and, you know, and Zarg just mentioned barbarians run around half naked. And if you wear cloth and that gives you zero level, that gives you armor zero, you can say that you're not wearing armor. So sort of no. Okay. Um, but yes, silk can stop arrows. You know, it's still armor class zero, uh, but it has M levels. Okay. And since I have been stabbed in real life and my silk jacket prevented the Bowie knife from I was stabbed in the lung and my silk jacket prevented it from going all the way through and it only stabbed me about 3 inches into my lung rather than going all the way through my back. Um, then I'm gonna say that it has some protection. You know, and for the record, I jumped on the guy and fought him after he stabbed me because the dude was trying to mug me and I gave him the money. And I said, and then he stabbed me after that. And I said, dude, what the, you stabbed me. And I jumped on him and then I started beating on him. No, because his girlfriend came up behind me with a gun, put it up against the back of my head and went, and I heard click. And I said, and I stopped fighting. But guess what? She made him give me back my wallet and my glasses, which I had lost both those in the fight. She made him go and find my wallet and find my glasses and give them back to me. Okay, and I sealed up my wound and drove away. And went to my uncle's house. He called the ambulance. They came and picked me up. I had a hemopneumothorax because uh, that lung was completely full of blood. And doc said, we got to drain this blood out. So, and we can't, and because you are stabbed through the lung, we can't give you anesthesia. So, what do you want to do? So I said, okay, if you're going to stab me again, then I need you to uh, hold my arms down, hold my legs down, and put something in my mouth because I will punch somebody. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you ahead of time. I will punch somebody. So they did. My uncle held my legs down. They called two big old orderlies in. Each one held my arm down. And then I had asked them to roll up a washcloth, put it in my teeth, and I bit down. And then they stabbed me again, and then shoved a tube in my lung and drained the blood out. So I lived, and but yeah, the coma was later. That was I was hit. I was in a car accident and rolled around in my car. The car rolled 120 feet down the street, and according to the medics, I didn't remember this, but I attacked them when they tried to drag me out of the car. I have a innate desire to attack people when I'm damaged. Anyway, um, okay, so uh, where was I? Oh yeah, so um, medics no longer have AOE heals. They are single target, but they do get the longbow in exchange. Okay, and they can no longer wear metal armor, but they can still wear D3 if they get if they gather the components to make one of the special uh, one of the specials, like Incubus Tongue D2. I'm sorry, D2. By they cannot they can they cannot AOE heal. That's right. They're a single target. Incubus Tongue, by the way, also qualifies as leather armor. I've never seen anybody try to do it, but that is a potential leather armor that you can make. It's considered scale now. You can still, yeah, anything from Cantino goes on top of your of anything you have potential of what you possess. Okay, there's still a limit. Okay, there's still a limit. Okay, but it goes on top of what your class base is. Okay, exactly correct, Rika. Your scale mail plus your sash. Is that all? Is this all making sense? Okay. So if you have something special from Cantino, okay, it is not included in your class limit. Okay. Like if you're a mage and your class limit um, is armor class 0 because you wear cloth, but you have a cloak of protection from Cantino. You know, then you have armor class 3. Okay, that's right. That's right. Spells are temporary, but they do they can add to your armor class. That's right. Max is 5 no matter what. Okay, you cannot stack past that. You can have everything in the world that you're wearing on, but 5 is the max. Even if you have, let's say for the sake of argument, that you have plate mail armor and you have um, magic cloaks and magic belt and blah blah, everything blotted, all the blottas and all the blottas. Okay, you still can't go past 5. Okay, no matter what. And Aragon, I have already announced. I think you had crashed. Where are you? Maybe you can't handle the number of people in the room. Oh, okay. All right. Let him know that I've already made the announcement that he wanted me to make, I think. But he is working on it. I don't know. Oh, um, actually, I do have more about what I was talking about. So, we are going to try out all of the new spells, okay? And we need to try them out in vivo. And if, for those of you that don't know what in vivo means, that means live, okay? Because I want to see how they interact with each other, okay? You can do all the solo testing all in the world that you want between two people or three people and say, hey, this works. You know, it's cool. It's copacetic. We're golden. Okay. But you know what? Until you see how it interacts with all the rest of the stuff, you don't know. Okay. Because you also have, because there are things that you may not be able to, uh, you may not have come into contact with, that you don't think about. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like beta. Exactly correct, Tico. Because you're not going to see. You don't know. I mean, look how long it took us to figure out that there were innate race issues with the numerical values in the in uh, our core HUD. You know, he didn't. You know, when Warwick created it, he didn't know. I mean, he was going by he was working in a vacuum. Okay. When you work in a vacuum, you can come out with all the awesomeness in the world. It's like, yeah, you know, this is super cool. This should be this way, you know, vacuum, vacuum, vacuum. Okay. Because solo by itself, that's how it is. But how it interacts with everything else is what matters. Okay. Because a fire elemental being completely immune to fire totally makes sense. Okay. In a vacuum. Okay. But when it starts interacting with all the rest of the, there are a lot of ways around that. I'll get, I'll answer your question in just a second. Just a little Rainmaker. Okay. Okay. Um, but the answer is yes. Um, I'll go into more detail there. Anyway, so in a vacuum, that's the way that is. But how it interacts with the general public, that changes everything. Now suddenly you have people that normally before, okay, here I'm going to use elves as an example because it's our base race, right? Okay, elves had an innate +5, I think it was, magic resistance. Okay, that made it so that no magic was going to affect them. Okay, now in a vacuum, that makes total sense because elves have innate magic resistance. Okay, but it made it so that you know you're tossing fireball at elves, and best thing you can do is the only damage that they're going to take is if they're hit by a fireball from someone like me or an archmage. You know, you hit by me, you're going to be dust because I'm going to do. 3,000 points of damage, and you got points. But point being, that the uh, if the meter takes off a certain amount, it's got to be measured. Okay, so we had to go through, and I had to talk to Warwick. We had to get it fixed on a base level. Okay, and yes, of course, this is all meter combat, and not everybody does meter combat. And this goes back to Ken. All right, now Ken, Jill Raymaker. We also have what's called GARP battles. Okay, and GARP battles are GA role play battles. Okay, where you're not running around uh, on the field of battle with a sword in your hand. You're sitting at a desk or in a chair. In real life, you're sitting at your desk. You're sitting at a chair, and I'm telling you what's going on. Okay, you tell me what you're doing. You roll dice, and you win or lose depending on what the dice says. All right, and admittedly, I have a lot of secret information that I don't tell you, like how the weather is affecting the event, or because if I tell you every single thing, the battle would last 10 times as long, and I don't want that. So I keep my secret information and say, okay, and that it makes it go that much faster. So you do have to trust me, okay, people's. It is a matter of trust that I'm telling you for what's really happening. Okay, you know, so you keep that in mind. All right. Now, um, that's our second type of battle. We have two types of battles. We have meter combat and we have GARP battles. And then another answer to your question, Jill Rainmaker, is we also have uh, non-coms, okay, which means non-combat players. Okay, that we have a professions guild. Okay, hey, all good. And if you need to turn off your that your character sneezing. Oh, it's encrypting one of your attachments. Funny. Anyway, blah blah blah. Okay. Uh. Oh. What did that happen? Phone decided to talk on its own. Robots. Okay. Um. Oh yeah. Non-coms. So so there's two types of non-coms. One of them is professions, and we have a lot of people that do are in the professions guild, both combat players and non-combat players, and that is extremely broad from leather workers, like has been mentioned before. Who is our primary leather worker? Blah 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 blah. I want to hear it. Hawthorne Traveler. That's right. Okay. And we have several blacksmiths. I know at least one of them's in the room right now. All right. Darg. There's one of our blacksmiths right there. Okay. So, but we have several blacksmiths, and we have cartographers. We have every profession in the universe that you could think of, we have one. Okay. So if you can think, oh, Ken, I know that you like to do steampunk. We do have profession for that. Okay. We even have a goblin that is in charge of that. We haven't. We also, Jackie just waved her hand. Um, uh, she is also in charge of that too. We have three in charge of the Professions Guild. You know? So yes, and so yeah, talk to talk to Jackie. She can give you more details about that. Get you on the roll, and yeah. And as far as Taylor, we have that too. That's what your silk weaver goes into. We have tailors, okay, and that's also in the Professions Guild. Okay, so talk to Jackie, and she can help you get get set up with wherever you need to be on in that arena. Okay, okay, and I know that you are just learning to role play. Okay, that is a new skill. You've always been a World of Warcraft player, so you are used to the hard and fast, do it, get it done, and roll it out there. And so you're just learning the role play aspect. Every Most of the people in this room have been doing it for a while, so um, and the ones that haven't, that are also learning, everybody here understands, and you've either been where you are or are still where you are, and so they'll all be cool with it. So they will they will all help. Anybody that you approach can help you understand what you're doing. Okay, and correct. Happy to help. I love that. Okay, um, and that's good. And that's good. And there's a leveling up process in that too. And hopefully that answers your question. Okay. And we have the app. There's also red robes. And the place that you are in right now has a wealth of information on anything you could think of. Okay. And right now, Tico is assisting the librarians. Um, you can consider him a librarian assistant because the librarians are they 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 have been hogtied by the the world known as real life, and so Tico has stepped up and is assisting them uh, in getting things in order. Okay? So that is super awesome. speaking of Chico, he is in the process of arranging uh, Gary Gygax's other son to come and speak to the GA in a couple of months. Okay? And for those of you that don't know, okay, the quest to get the Gygaxian one, there's 3 versions, is still out there. All right? And yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. And the reason, Tico, my apologies for allowing it to be public, but don't shower him with smacking him on the side of the head with it, because I still have to talk to the guy, and we still have to get all the details ironed out. But I wanted to sing a little bit of praise for Chico, because as a librarian assistant, that is a pretty cool thing to bring in. There's a lot to do before it can happen, and that's why I'm not giving dates or nothing like that, because there's a lot of things needs to happen. But anyway, with that being said, my NPCs, there's a few of them you guys should know. There's a unicorn out there that's an NPC. There's a half illithid out there that's an NPC off the top of my head. And they have the ability to give out a quest that can get you the Gygaxian. There are 3 versions of it. And if you want to see what those are, they're over to my right here. Okay. They are magic swords. Okay. And you get to choose which one. Okay. You don't, I don't assign which one. You pick which of the blades that you would actually want. That's why there are 3. Okay. Is you pick the one that suits your character. You know? Anyway, but you have to seek out one of the NPCs, and they'll give you a quest to make it happen. Okay, so anyway, I was starting to talk about the fact that we are testing all the new spells. So the quest is for anyone, magic user or otherwise. Anybody can use a Gygaxian. Okay, Gygaxian can be used by any class. Okay, that there are new spell lists out right now, and they should be here in the room. Okay, but I'm not sure if they've been released. But uh, considering Aragon is the one who's putting them out, um, and he keeps crashing, maybe they haven't been really put out yet. Considering he keeps crashing, maybe he hasn't put them out yet. But once he stops bouncing off the ceiling, um, then they will get put out, and they will be here in the library. Okay. So For those of you that do not know, your white magister is right here. She will keep you posted on that information. Everybody knows who your three magisters are, right? Three magisters, black, white, and red. Correct. That is correct. Those three are the ones that are that work directly for me. Okay. Okay. So they're the ones who work directly for me. Okay. So um, if there are if there are they can answer any questions, and of course if there's any issues, that means you come to me with them. Okay. But all other issues, if they're not with one of those three people, go to one of those three people and they can bring it to me. If there's an issue with one of them, then you come to me about it. Okay. But if you need information, go to one of my masters. Okay, they will help you. Okay. Everybody's cool and copacetic on that. Okay. And yes, Rika is the meter battle general. And uh, and guard battles are usually run by either Star or Trinity. Okay? And the librarians are the ones who keep everything updated. Like I said, real life has them uh, hogtied. So um, Tico will be updating things as he's able to do so. Okay. Because there is a lot, you know, there is a lot. So this room holds everything in the GA. So if you find something if you run across something that's not updated, don't freak out. Okay. Just let somebody know. And as soon as we can, we'll get it fixed. It's not like we don't want to. It's just that there's so much, and feel free to explore this place too. You know, at the top floor is the office of the librarians. Okay, and they have the power to do and build anything, and pretty much tell you anything. Okay, and yes, Ken. Basically, as long as your three certain areas are covered, then you're fine. Do I have any do I have any Fae in the room right now? Yes, I already know Jackie's a Fae. Um, Fae are notorious for wearing next to nothing. Okay, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, as long as you know what's considered the naughty bits, right, are covered, you're okay. You know, so if you wear pasties in a G string, then you are okay. Okay, that's all you have to wear. Okay, as far as all right, does that make sense? I hope that answers your question about the PG thing. Okay. In private, you don't have to wear that, but in public, that's what that's what's required. You at least have to wear pasties and a G string. Okay. All right. Now, on the 15th and 29th of this month, Aragon just dropped me a line. He wanted to remind he wanted to say that they're especially he especially wants to look at the the uh, the, the meter uh, measurements. So people that you know, even if it's not you, people that you know that are into the meter combat thing, go there so that because we need everyone in every possible race to show up so we know how it is. As Tico mentioned earlier, this kind of a beta testing situation. If if only 4 people and they're all elves show up, does that tell us anything? Well, it tells us something about elves. If the and if okay, um, so more yes, okay. Aragon is he made it back. The more races and classes, the better. Okay, so you know, samurai, you are one of the smallest numerical values. You need to have some representatives if you can help it, and that goes to all of you people. If you have reps, even if you aren't a meter fighter, look through your peoples and find people that are meter fighters. Okay, Rika, and this goes to you. If if you can't make it yourself and you know it, look through your peoples and send somebody. Okay, so you can have a rep there, so you know um, that you know Ranger Medic in your case has been represented. Okay, so that you know that Dragon Priest has been represented. You know that uh, Mermaid Bard has been represented. Okay, you know that uh, Satyr Rogue has been represented. Okay, and if you need to temporarily, if you need to train someone to be there, do it. It's okay. You know, I'm cool with it. You know, I'm fine with that because we, who knows, maybe they'll love the new training and decide that that's the class that they want to be in. It's like that, you know. Sometimes when people get a taste of something, they decide to bite. All right. Any questions about anything I have talked about thus far? I also want to plug the pleasure fair a little bit. Oh, yes, Jilla Raymaker. Tico has been working on that, and our own we have our own channel. It hasn't been the person who has been doing that for almost for 15 years. Kind of has been in the hospital for like the last year for Rose. Um, but uh, Tico has started recording again. But yes, we do have a YouTube channel, and I think you can access that from Discord, and then I work on it from that. But a lot of the stuff that has happened within the last year is not recorded visually. But Tico has been trying to uh, consolidate that and get it squared away. Okay. Um, thus far, he's proven to be a pretty efficient library assistant. Everything on the RoE channel is now transcribed. There we go. See, look at that. Okay. So, but we do have a RoE channel. Okay. So you can watch. Okay? And I think, see that, see that spider behind you? I mean, well, it's to your right. There's a wall over there. Okay. And behind that wall, there's a room. In that room is all the OOC information of the GA. Okay. Everything, there's just hundreds of note cards. And, you know, um, Jackie can help you with that. Tico, she's in contact with the librarians. Okay. And you, I'll allow you guys to arrange how that will all work out. She's your POC. Everyone knows what POC means, right? I know I'm ex-military, so I use a lot of stuff. I use a lot of acronyms. I mean, anagrams, acronyms. Sorry. Point of contact. And Michael's also, so he knows. All right. So was Araya. We do have a couple of veterans, you know, here. Yeah. Yep. Zildjian, Maeve. Good night, and you sleep well. You know where this is, and now you know, you know about RoE. Okay, all right. So that's cool. Sleep well. Vendas for now. Beladas for your attendance. Okay. Uh, any questions about any of the things that we have talked about thus far? Okay, cool. All right. So everybody understands about the quests to get the Gygaxian. There's lots of other quests too that you can approach them about, but because of oh, um, that also brings up another point. Um, so in April, because the first weekend is Easter, my row is going to be the second Sunday instead of the first Sunday because the first Sunday is Easter. I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys that now, um, in case I will try to remember to put out notices, but I'm obviously not awesome at that. You know, I generally rely on my masters and my conclave to get to do that because I'm not in world as often as everybody else is. But I have now said it here, so at least the people in this room know. I find that word of mouth is far more effective, especially since they have messed up the the uh, the drop down menu that used to exist. I know that there are some positives to it, but the negatives are that notices just don't get to everyone. So, who knows? I, don't, I can't say that everyone gets all the notices anymore because if you don't look for them, you don't know. I've put out lots of stuff that people don't never knew happened. Anyway, okay, so I've covered a lot of things that I wanted to cover that is of import, and so I'm, I'm sure that I have a lot of other things that I want to talk about. But before I do that, don't worry, don't no apologies necessary. You know, you're here, um, and hopefully everybody can catch you up on the things that I have talked about. Are there other questions outside of what I've talked about? Do you have any other burning questions that you'd like to throw at me? Because this is your time to do that. You know, 'cause I there are a couple of other things I want to bring up, but I want to see if there are anything else that you have going on. Okay, all right. Keep thinking about it. Okay, so okay, I'll go with that. Okay, so yeah, I want to. So I want to bring out now. I want to talk a little bit about the current role play. Okay, as most of you already know, well, at least the people that are in my Discord, already know that I'm already ready for our next roleplay to roll out. I've just the only thing we're just waiting on one aspect to be completed. Okay. Um, and then once that's completed, I'm ready to roll out with the next one. Okay. And I already have all my plans in my head. Okay. For stage one of the next role play. Okay. But I can't do that until we finish this one. All right. So that does require that the hole in the sky be closed. It does. Sinner does need to. I'm not sure. I know Sinner needs to role play with a certain person. I'm not sure all the details, but I know that Sinner needs to be located and role played with and convinced to help the GA. Now, Sinner, in case you don't know, does everyone here know who Sinner is? Yes, exactly. Nargothrond summoner. Okay. She was the summoner for Nargothrond. She was the one who allowed Nargothrond to come into this world. Exactly. All right. Now, she disappeared 150 years ago, as far as I see, Lee. Um, she disappeared. Now, she still puts out role plays, okay? But she disappeared. Oh, OOC Lee, she's been here off and on for 15 years, okay? But when the last time that Nargothrond uh, was sent back to hell, then she went underground, right? And to convince her to aid the GA against the Dark Lady is what needs to happen. Okay, she's obviously a very powerful character. Okay, and an integral part of the role play. Okay, so finding her and convincing her because Nargothrond is a bad guy. Okay, Nargothrond is one of the two main villains of the GA. Well, Dark Lady is pretty hardcore up there now too, but I don't know where she's classified, but definitely she is neither Nargothrond or Tall Maru. Okay, but she's certainly really bad. Okay, yes, Tall Maru Yep, is an Oberonth. You're right. And Oberonth sometimes look like aboleth. Sometimes they look like clouds. Oberonth sometimes don't look like anything. It depends on where they're at. Because that's the thing about Oberonth. You know. Yes, there is currently an Oberonth inside Nasora. And if people don't remember Nasora, she was one of the barmaids at the Lion's Head. Okay? It was a few years ago. I'm not sure how many years ago that was. Okay, there you go. All right, so Trini doesn't remember. You spurred her memory. Okay, cool. Now she's been possessed by an Oberon. So, yep. All right. So you know, that's a good thing. People are remembering. Things are going on. There's a lot in the world. There's many, many, many things going on. Okay, across the board. Okay, and all kinds of personal role plays going on. Okay, and all all personal role plays are important. I'm going to bring up another one. Okay, I'm going to pick on you for a second here, Rain. All right. Now, uh, Rain is working on Paragon. Okay, and so her Raptor has taken over as head shaman because shaman, I mean, the grand shaman position is sits perfectly with raptors. Okay. How many of you are familiar with the raptor race? That's right. That's right. They were first found from, by the Spelljammers. There's a lot to learn about the Underdark creatures too. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. This the raptor race was first located by the Spelljammers during a role play, yeah, about 6 years ago, thereabouts, and the and recently, when the during the Dark Lady role play, um, they were brought here through a role play with Star because the Dark Lady was eliminating their world because they proved to be a threat because they are immune to her shape-shifting, her ability to turn everybody into dragons. So she finds that to be a threat. All good. Baladas Spirit Tenders to Jalil Sharpclaws. Okay. Now, with that being said, the Raptors, no worries. Just as you stepped away, I started picking on you. Here is one of the Raptors. Okay. So they have several innate abilities, one of which being the ability to resist the Dark Lady's transformation skill. And they can turn into a velociraptor. Okay? That is something that they can do. Subsequently, the the shaman and the priests tend to follow Balados Spiritus, Jill Gardner. Go to bed. Sleep well. Get better. Okay? All right? Appreciate your attendance. Okay? I'll pick on you another time because I want to talk about your office of state. So next row. So don't let me forget. Something that I wanted to talk about. Okay. So Raptors. So they possess the ability to turn into a velociraptor. Okay. Now velociraptors aren't that big. Okay. They're about the size of a large dog or a wild turkey. Okay. But the their shamans can become a Utah raptor. Utah raptor is considerably bigger. Okay. They are about the size of a horse. Okay. And their druids have specialized forms. Okay. Now they're all basically the feathered dino types, like Archaeopteryx, and Velociraptor. Okay. But so if you have a druid raptor, then you have access to to some specialized uh, feathered dino types. Okay. Does anyone know what an Archaeopteryx is? Okay. An Archaeopteryx uh, basically looks like a lizard with wings. Okay, it has feathers. It kind of looks like a bat, except it's a lizard with wings. Ah, yes. The Pokemon Archeops is an Archaeopteryx. Okay. Yes, it is the forerunner of birds. It, correct. It is the first known discovered dino to have proven that dinosaurs had feathers. That is correct. We have discovered many others since then. In fact, we have discovered that Tyrannosaurus rex had feathers. In case you didn't know that, Tyrannosaurus rex had feathers. Okay, we have learned. Um, it really was a big chicken. He 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 he. He. So every time you go to KFC, you're eating a dinosaur. So the the raptor race are that they are warm-blooded, okay? But you know, since I didn't, since I wanted them only to uh, have one offspring instead of instead of a bunch like birds do, and so they don't lay eggs because I didn't want them to lay clutches because I wanted to limit them to have one, so they have some mammalian qualities, and that thusly they have some more hominid traits because of that. Okay, but they basically are uh, cross between a velociraptor and a hominid. They're hominid versions of velociraptor. They also, as you can tell, they have the hind claws, the feet, like a Deinonychus. All right, Deinonychus is also a member of the raptor race. Deinonychus is means deadly claw because they have the this a super a long sharp toenail they they use to rip apart their prey. The raptor race has that as well. Now I know some that getting an avatar with that is not always possible. So not every member of the race is going to possess that, but those that do will have that. Okay. Um, so do keep in mind. And their their social organization is like is uh is Mesoamerican. Okay, so they are it's a it's a female dominated race, and there are because there are very few males that are born into that are born. Okay, and It's not they're not a female dominated race because they are dominative. It's just that it's mostly females. Okay. Very few males are born in that race. Okay. So the few males that are born, they they tend to protect them so that the race continues. Okay. Because still, you know, it's not like frogs that can change their gender. You know, frogs can actually change their gender from male to female. Ra- Raptors cannot. Okay. Okay. Any questions about raptors? And what does anyone remember what the other name for raptors are? The Elven word for raptors. Dum, 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 dum. Heareth the lore. Heareth the lore. Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Yep. There it is. He spelled it. That is what I call them because it is the Elven word, but for them. But most people are just going to call them raptors. Okay. But I call them the Kirith the lore. Okay. And as you've probably realized that uh, uh, Quetzalcoatl is their chief deity. Okay. Anyone know who that is? Yes, it is an Aztec god. It's also Incan and Mayan. It's the feathered serpent. Correct. The feathered serpent. And hey, it's all good, Tico. When people, you know, as I always say, the only bad question is the one unasked. That goes with information too. When people know things, they should say it. That's correct. Jill Mayan has that also correct. And so the social organization of the Kirithalor, of the Raptors, is entirely set up that way. Okay. And little hammer, are you in your body right at this moment? Okay. Would you be so very kind as to bring your raptor, bring your Kirathalora up here to the library? Elados. Willamine, you should definitely make a raptor. No, she doesn't have to be dressed. She is. If she is. If she has naughty bits, they need to be covered. If she doesn't have naughty bits, she doesn't have. They don't have to worry about it. Okay. One of the reasons I'm one of the reasons I'm asking Jalil Hammer to bring her up here, because I want to give you guys uh, a example, because the color variations are that the Kirathalor can attain are very high, and the their emotions can change their colors. Okay, um, because they have a normal color, and then when they are having a high level of emotion, they change color. Okay, they are they're like chameleons. They can, yeah, you could do that with a tinter. That's fine. They um they're like chameleons. They actually can blend in with their surroundings if they wish. Okay, that's another one of their abilities. Okay, and she is correct. They also have a nictating membrane. Okay, here we go. Here's another representative from the Kirathalor. Okay, this is the leader. Okay, of the tribe that was brought from the that the Spelljammer located. When Star was able to convince them to come over here, this is the leader of that tribe. Okay, the Raptors do not all stay in one sim. They all split to be into whatever sim they wanted to be in, but this is still the leader. Okay, They all live in different places, right? But they still have a single leader. But the Raptors are very, very cool. And Zale is, since she's a shaman, you know, then she also has a Utah Raptor form, whereas Issa, not sure what class you are. You're rogue. She would have the okay. Then any other class, she still has a Velociraptor form. Okay, right? Whether you're a warrior, mage, or anything else. Okay, druids have have a form for each of their shifts. All right, but that does transplant their other their other types of shifts. Okay, so so you're not going to see a raptor druid turn into a bear, okay, or a cat. They're going to have a an appropriate uh, feathered dino. Nothing ever larger than a Utah raptor. Okay? So don't expect to see a T-Rex. Okay. Even at max level, which Grand Shaman is max level, the biggest you're going to see is a Utah raptor. Utah raptor is the bomb. Okay. If you can imagine a velociraptor that's the size of a Clydesdale, that's going to rip you apart. Okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. And of course, they are not. They are weak to silver and thorium. Um, because of that, because of their their shape shifting uh, naturals, then they are weak to silver and thorium, just like all other shifters, just like wolves. It's like all the wolf types, and they are weak to silver and thorium. Thank you for bringing that up. I, thank you. Something that I wanted to mention. So that was a good you asked that question. I always say, I I am good, but I am imperfect. I do not remember everything that I need to tell you. Okay? Yes, Silverlace Steel Blade would be extremely effective. That's right. They cannot be force shifted. Thank you for bringing that up too. Because of their ability, they cannot be force shifted. Okay? Yep, all of that is true. They don't fly by default. They are mostly female, and they can be undead. And they do, since uh, they have um, scales, for kind of, you know. Then they have natural armor, like a like dragon. You know, obviously their scales are not um, heavy like a dragon, so their natural armor classes is like leather. Okay, but that's still cool. You know? uh, any other questions about Gryffindor? Oh, here's another important thing. If they are mages or druids or rangers and they summon a companion, it's going to be of the uh, going to be lizard like. Okay, they're it's probably going to be a reptile. Okay, or a bird. Okay, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. If you have a calf, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be opposed to a Max Cavalier having a Triceratops. A Max Cav, not a young, not an early calf, but you know, Max Cav. I can see it. Yep, Rain is pointing to her familiar right there. That's a good example there. You know, but yeah, the others, a Cavalier, I can see that happen. The None of the other races that would that happen to, but definitely it would be possible for a raptor to do that. Yes. Maybe an ankylosaurus, not a dimetrodon. That would be impossible to ride. But hmm, trike, I could see. Yep. hmm Ankylosaurus would be an awesome siege beast, but only calves. Only a raptor calf could have that. You know, only raptors have access to dinos. Okay. Any non raptor that wants to try to get a dino would have to go to the raptor world in order to try. And there's only one way. Is it possible to get there? Yeah, but but it's inhabited by dragons. That's why they came here. All right. Any other questions. And also feel free if there's any uh, information that you don't know about them, you know, or that you do know that I haven't said, speak up, and I will talk about it. But generally speaking, the rest of the dinos did not come across. Okay, so it's not like you're going to walk out of Silvara and see a T-Rex. Not how it's going to work. Okay, raptors have access to dinos because they can summon them from their home world. Okay, and or they can become them. You anyone else would have to go to their home world to do that. Okay, I want to clarify that in case people start thinking that there was going to be a herd of triceratops running rampant across the street. No, that's not going to happen. Yes, a mage could possibly do that, you know, as long as you know they have access to that world. Yes, they could, Aragon. How to train your dino class. That is funny. Okay. Any more questions? And obviously, I do encourage anyone who wants to make an alt raptor to do so. And because obviously they were brought forth because of the Dark Lady roleplay, but there will be times in the future that they have that there are other role plays that will be significant for them in particular. But if you enjoy playing one, I highly encourage, you know, if somebody wants to make one their main, I really encourage that one. Okay, because I introduced them years ago. Uh, I'm glad they have finally taken foothold. But yes, there were the Spelljammer role play kind of crashed and burned because Spelljammers sometimes do that. you know? Yes. As far as as far as dragons go, hey, huh, welcome Jello Rose. How about that? Glad to have you among us. Yes. As far as dragons go, only pseudo dragons can be companions or familiars. Regular dragons cannot. Regular dragons can have familiars or companions, but they cannot be companions or familiars. A dragon fairy dragon, I would allow as to replace a pseudo dragon for a fae because they're even smaller, by the way, and they have butterfly wings. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. So I would allow a fairy dragon, okay, as well. Okay, a dragon mage could summon. Okay, you would have to be really high level to have a human. um, you'd have to be you have to be guild lead level to have a human as a companion or familiar. But it is possible, and you would summon, and you would do it the same way as you summon any other type of uh, companion or familiar. All right, it's the same spell, and that is correct. Fire lizards are pseudo dragons. Chillowthorn. Yes, Jaluk Gray, but oh, you'd have to be a dragon, and you're not. But you, there are non-humans that have the same size and capabilities. Imps, brownies, chief bard. You could possibly have a brownie. It's not impossible. Or closet. Closets are awesome. Onculus are awesome. Okay. Any other questions about anything we've talked about thus far? Oh, and while you guys are thinking about questions, does anyone remember? I'm going to ask this. What the welcome Jalil Superior? Um, does anyone remember what the rabbit race is? Commonly see drawings of them in uh, medieval art. Yep, Herringon. You were close. Herringon. Yeah. They are brutal. You know, and oh, we have another dragon in the room right here. A Jill, drilled, drilled car. So one of Jill Serga's rooms. I don't know if either of you are mages, but the discussion we were just having fits that. But anyway, Herringon. All right. What people don't realize is they are extremely brutal. All the paintings of Harengon are they kill everything, you know. Um, I know that yes, they are a Fey type. This is foreshadowing. And Adair just left. Somebody needs to. Yeah. Guess there's a new role play coming soon after the sky stops burning. After the sky stops burning. No, they do not fly. They jump though. Usagi Yojimbo is a Harengon. Usagi Yojimbo is what is my very favorite character from that series. Mostly Harengon are black, you know, but if you look at the drawings, some of them are white, some are brown. Okay, I think it. I think in that case, it depends. It depended on the medieval artist, okay, what they had access to. Mhm. But yeah,
Tasty bunny.
okay. Any other questions? That's cool. Somebody knew who Usagi Yojimbo was. No, you know what a cantor is? And cantor's spelled with a K, but it is a bunny. Yes. Yep. Cantor. They are bunnies, and they're pink and or and or purple, and they are very soft to touch, but they have rhino thick hides, chitin. Yep, they're underdark bunnies. Lilith is one. Serga's met Lilith. Serga has met Lilith. They are poisonous. They spit poison, and if they bite you, they have a nerve poison that will kill you. Yep, basically an Adoran, but no horn. They don't. They don't have a horn in their forehead. But basically an Adoran, and they can. I don't know if an Adoran can spit poison like a spitting cobra. Can he? If he can, then yes. Right. We'll have to get then just like that. It is the it's the Underdark rabbit. You're right. And yes, XJ9 has a Cantor. And that may be all good and well as long as you don't try to do that to Lilith. Because if you do that to Lilith, I don't think XJ9 would like you very much. Let's see. Any other questions? Because I know I've held you on for like almost 2 hours. Okay. Alrighty then. And I am. Uh, I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm closing this out. Um, if you are not in my Discord, okay, then you miss out because every once in a while I put out a, and this is a plug, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. Every once in a while I have a channel in there. Okay, it's called what's it called? GA Discord people. What's my channel called in the Discord group? Yep, Magician's Corner. Thank you. Every once in a while, I put out something in the Magician's Corner. I put out a little puzzle, a little riddle, a little um, uh, blurb, I think. All right. And if you know what I'm talking about, then I gift you a thing, right? If you're the first person to do so. And if it's the first two people, if they both add together to make the information. Most recently, I did a quote from The Doors, an obscure quote from one of the songs, and Sarek and Serga both got pieces of it. So Sarek got a magical microphone. I didn't call it that, but that's what it is. And and Serga got a magic door that allows her to walk through it once a day and to someplace else that she has been to. And anything touching her goes with her. And every time she opens the door, it plays a door song. Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you. Let me jump in your game. She's walking down the street, lost to every eye she meets. Arms are wicked and her legs are long. When she moves, my brain screams out this song. So, anyway, little plug because I do that, and hey, mostly it's just they're just little role play things, but they can help in your battles, in your GARP battle and stuff. And yeah, mostly it is just fun stuff like this. But hey, that's cool. It can, if you like that kind of thing. I think somebody, I did I did a cat in the hat thing, and somebody ended up with a hat of holding, and I gave them a red and white striped hat that they wear on top. They can wear on top of their head, and then they put, and it's a hat, and it's a bag of holding. Yep, and they hit. That's right. Yep, and Tico, he just showed you one of the things. He got a fish sword, and it can drop a rain of fish on people. Yep, and it's allowed to be used in combat. And in role play, that stops. It gives you 2 rounds of uh, of free move, of free motion, free movement. You know, on your against your enemy. So hey, it can help in GARP battles. Just a little plug there for people in Discord because I can't be here every day. All right, and I try. I'm here as often as I can be. Okay. All right. So Trini must have everything turned off because she didn't see the fish. But since I can't be here every day, I do a lot of stuff in Discord. But that's not saying I don't want you guys here all the time because I do. But if you happen to be able to have Discord when you're oh Hexina, the other day I left my body here. My soulless body was here for 2 days. The reason I didn't answer because I wasn't here. My body was here, but I wasn't here. Okay, I was gone for a couple of days. I had logged myself in and left myself here for 2 days. So my apologies for everybody who talked to me during that during that time. I was not actually here. Just my body was here. My soulless body was sitting at my desk. So um, just letting you all know. Anyone who tried to talk to me for the last 2 days, I was not actually here. Okay. So it, yeah, definitely don't do that because it's still everything is still visually recorded. So I'm gonna catch you on film. I may not be able to see. all the things you talk to me about. But anyway, um, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and cut you guys all loose. I know I have kept you here forever. Um, Bella does for your attendance, and Douse for now.